What's up, people? Welcome back. It's TJ. As promised, electrical update. I didn't film the install of a lot of the inverter, the solar charge controller, the circuit breakers, but they are operational. But I do need to charge the batteries up via solar, because the shore power is not really hooked up yet, and it's in storage, so don't want to suck up too much of their juice. But this is what I have so far. This is the, what is this, the the battery monitor system, and this actually keeps track of power coming and going. That's the inverter, that's the batteries. They're at 12.6 volts right now. I'm gonna pull that out to the sun so I could charge that up, and that's what the solar panels are actually picking up being inside. But this is the 50 amp breaker from the shore power. It goes from the surge guard right here. There's a surge protector right there, and then from the surge protector it goes to the 50 amp breaker right here. From the breaker it goes to the inverter, so it converts to, well, it's not really converting, it's going 120 120, but it's set so that way, like, it takes 15 amps max from the outlets and puts it in this, and then if it needs anything extra additional, it'll pull from the batteries. So that's what these two are connected to. They're going to 400 amps. Depending on your application, some systems require like a one-way point. They don't really like the line split into two, so it needs to go through like one breaker. But in the instructions it says 2 cables, 2 watts for both the ground and the negative, or not the ground and negative, but the power and the ground. So that's what I have right here, and it runs all the way down. I have 2 shutoffs. Those are the 400 amp fuse breakers, whatever you want to call them. But that's what that is, and this is the bus bar. So I have all this stuff. It's just temporarily installed. I still have to do like some the wall paneling and all that jazz, and this doesn't want to come off. So this is all the 12 volt stuff. Well, actually it's the batteries. This is going to the solar charge controller. This is to my lift gate in the back, and this right here is what actually measures all the amps coming and going, so you can keep track via the battery monitor system. So all the grounds need to be on the opposite side, like on the body side of it. Like, all these are the battery grounds down here. That's the only thing that's connected to this ground right here, is just the batteries. So any additional grounds, if you want to measure like the amps coming and going, need to be on the opposite side on the chassis, away from the battery grounds. So we have that, and then to the solar charge controller, this is what takes all of this right here. This is for each individual solar panel, so that way if I need to test to see if things aren't working, I can shut them off one by one. So this is the right side, and there's a right front, right middle, right rear, left front, left middle, left rear. And then I also put connectors on here, so that way when I do have to disconnect, there's not any like loose wires that could ground out. So that's actually a safety precaution. But yeah, like, it all works. But right now I'm gonna actually just pull it out, so that way I got the sun charge the batteries via the solar. You can actually see like the flow of power, where it's coming and going. So let's get that. Okay, and all the electrical that's done thus far is the major part that I need to do. There's still some little ends I need to tighten up, like I need to finish the wiring for this and the LEDs for the lights that are going to run down. And I did pick up a new battery isolator. It's actually for lithium. I picked up this right here. because the isolator that I have right now is for like AGM, lead acid. That actually puts like the charge on it, but like it breaks it every, I think, 20 minutes or so. So that way it charges the batteries safely and more efficiently. But we're outside, and this is what I want to show you. This is the solar panels right now, and this is what it's doing. It's charging the batteries. So right now it's pumping 1300 watts into the batteries. So you can see like it trickles, like the flow of electricity, which way it's going. So right now I'm facing like north south, so that way I kind of get like the most out of like the sun via like the east and the west. So this is what it's showing right now. It's 13.2. Before was what, like a 12 something, but it's showing 100 amps kicking through right now. So we're just gonna let this stuff charge up. But while it's doing that, I need to start framing out some more stuff. Like I mentioned before, I need to box this in still. Ooh, excuse me. Box that stuff in still and build out the bench. So actually I need to probably, since I have the van out, I need to start getting the wood that I'm going to reuse for the bench, measure that, and figure out which pieces I want to use. So I actually start getting rid of a lot of this stuff right here. This is like the main reason why I had the storage unit. When I was doing the demo, there's just a lot of stuff that I needed just room for. I was in a smaller unit before this, but ran out of space very quickly, and it's nice and easier to work inside, you know, instead of being out there like in the elements. Like right now it's sunny, but where I'm at right now it does snow, and this was parked inside over the winter. So that helped build like the roof racking and stuff like that. It definitely helped me with the process, not having to be outside in the elements. But I need to get rid of all this. Everything needs a home, everything needs a place, but I really need to just get rid of all of this, and I could possibly downsize the storage unit. I don't know, I'm getting a little too comfortable being able to work inside. Over the years, just even working on cars and stuff, I've had a garage probably for like the last, I don't know, it's got to be a good 5 to 6 years now. Like not even just with this, but just other little projects and stuff I've been inside in a garage. I used to have to pull engines and stuff on the street. So this is definitely luxury for me, from where I came from. Like I'm definitely getting accustomed to having the garage, but it's supposed to be temporary situation for me right now. But we'll see how it goes. But right now I need to set up, start doing this cutting. I think the main thing is the bench. I need this material to try to figure out like the bench. A lot of this I'm not using. Like all of this I believe I'm probably gonna end up throwing in the trash, or yeah, throw that in the trash. Yeah, a lot of this is gonna go. This is insulation. This has to go in still, like in various places, like towards the partition in the front, that needs to go there. Over the wheel wells I have to insulate that still. And yeah, I just didn't want to throw away too much stuff, so that way, like if I did need something, I still had it. So right now, that's what I'm about to do right now, is just go through and figure out what I need and what I don't need. So that's continuation. Let's check on this. Also, the battery monitor system works. I'm not really relying off of this because I still have to equalize that out. Like once it gets charged, you have to set it up via the app. The app is where you could go in, you could put in how much amp hours like your total battery bank is, and set up like the voltage and everything. It's been set up, but I need to calibrate it to a 0 amp draw when there's nothing being pulled on it, and also when the battery bank is full. So that way, this right here, this is what measures your amps coming and going. So that needs to be calibrated, so that way I get an accurate reading, and it'll actually give me a time length of how much time I have to use all the equipment that I'm using at that certain time. So if I just have like the lights on, it might even just say like 5 days, 10 days. If you're not pulling anything, it'll just say infinity because it's just sitting there idle. So not going off of this right now. I just wanted to show you that's accurate with the solar charge controllers pulling through and where it's going. But this right here is probably a little bit more accurate. This is the battery monitor system. It protects the batteries. It's supposed to protect the batteries from overcharging, and like if the battery gets too low, it's supposed to cut the power to them. Full is about 14.1 volts, I believe. Right now we're at 12.7, saying 63%. So that should be a little over 1,000 amp hours. The total battery bank is 2,000 amp hours. So right now I should have a little bit more than half of that. And I didn't show, but I did have this running off of just the batteries. So actually, I'll show you that real quick. So power on is up for the inverter. That's a click, that's the humming. Let's see if it'll actually pick that up. It shows it's on, it shows grid, and then it'll show like AC load. So the grid is where like the shore power would be coming in or going out, depending on like if this is a house. Some people sell like power back to the company from like solar power. The AC load is at 0 watts, but I'm about to turn on the AC, no pun intended, AC alternating current. We're actually just gonna do, well, that's low fan. We'll just do low fan right now. I just want to charge the batteries up. I just wanted to show you. So it'll show like the load on AC is 269 watts. So it'll show you like right now off of just the fan by itself, it's doing both charging for the battery and it's sending power to the inverter to run the fan on the air conditioner. So that's what that is. And then let me see, I'm not sure if it'll actually show. Well, that's where time will go, but like as I said, I need to calibrate and have everything set so that way it shows you, and it'll show like consumption of amp hours. So when you have amp hours from 12 volt versus 120 volt, you have to think that it has to convert to 12 volts to 120, and then 120 amps are measured differently. So you might see, I don't know, 5 amps on 120, but like in the battery world, probably about 50 amp-ish hours, give or take. But I just wanted to show you like it can run, sustain itself without being plugged in, and that was the goal. So I'm gonna give you another update eventually when I have everything like calibrated, or I might actually even show you me calibrating everything. But I just wanted to show you that it shows like the flow of electricity, where it's going and where you're using it. So that's pretty cool. You know, like with the AC on, if the AC was on, the AC probably sucks like a good 1,400 watts. So it will be pulling from the batteries right now also with this. You know, it uses all the solar will be used first, but then if it needs anything additional, it'll take from the batteries. And then let's say like I had the AC load running, like you saw, like it was doing both charging the batteries and running the fan off of the solar. So like if it does have the available solar power available, it'll use the solar first, and then the batteries are kind of just like a backup. And as an addition to like the inverter here, like I said, like I have it set for 15 amps on 120 volt for an outlet. So it only will pull 15 amps from an outlet. So let's say, I don't know, you have like, I don't know, little outlet, like, because this could do this is a setup for 30 amps. So let's say I had 30 amp pulling from a 15 amps, it'll keep popping that breaker on that 15 amp. So right now it's just 15 amps. So but then if it needs anything additional, it will pull from the batteries. So it's a booster. It'll boost up and give it the amps that it actually needs to run everything without blowing the breaker at like a house outlet. Like if you're visiting somebody, or if you're at like a campsite and they have a 15 amp, you want to drop that down to 15 amp or even less if you want to, so it doesn't blow their breaker. But usually campsites, they have 30 amps, but like this is probably more like a residential. You probably will find 15 amps if you're outside running like an extension cord or something. But it's set up to to be safe and efficient, and the switch over rate's so fast, like you won't see a glitch in the light. So that's pretty cool. And then I still have like the breakers here to wire up. Right now, that's the air conditioner. It's hooked up onto this one. But then I'm also gonna have the block warmer. So that way, like if it's in the winter time somewhere and it's real cold out, the diesel engine does have a block warmer. And I'm gonna keep that function here. Like a lot of this stuff has been cut and disabled on the 120 side right here, and we're just going to keep the block heater. All these other things are gone, so I only have the block heater will be up here. That'll be the only thing. And then for the 12 volts, I'm going to keep the 12 volts. And then it also has a battery meter up front. Also, the auxiliary, the back batteries, the lithium aren't hooked up to this, but this is for the vehicle batteries to start. So that's at 12.6. And then once I hook up that lithium isolator, I'll connect the other power side, so that way from up front I'll be able to like see what the voltage are in the back without having to pull over, and what's the chassis putting out. And yeah, that would be pretty cool, you know. And then also, where did it go? Well, that little lithium isolator I had, also if you hook up the switch, you could jump start yourself off of these. So if the chassis, the vehicle battery dies on you, you can just hit a switch and it'll pull the power from the back, the lithiums, to start the motor. So that was also a cool little addition, because then you don't have to worry about jumper cables or finding somebody. That's if these are charged and there's juice in those. If you have two dead batteries, it's not jump starting anything, but it's just like a backup. So this actually charges. You have solar it could charge off of. It could charge off of the alternator from the diesel. It can also charge off of shore power if you're plugged in. So there are 3 different ways I could charge these batteries. So there's a bunch of fail safes, I guess, even built into like all the electronics, all the fuses and everything. It's very safe. It looks a little scattered. There's a lot of wires running everywhere, but like it's controlled chaos, and I know where the wires go. And it was pretty straightforward. If you're not comfortable with this stuff, find like a professional, like to wire all your stuff up. Don't electrocute yourself. Trying to save a couple bucks. If you have any inkling of uncertainty doing this, do not do it. Find somebody to do it for you. But I felt pretty safe and confident in doing this. And then also with this is a 250 volt breaker I had to build. There's a jumper. I took some copper pipe and I banged that out to make a jumper, so the power goes from here and there off of the 120. Because at a 250 you'll have, this is what the red is for, that red will go into here. So on this, we're not using this, so that's why this is taped off. And tape off, and just when you get done with it, push it so it's out of the way. Because right now it's not pulling anything, but like if I plug it into shore power, that's pumping 120 additional volts. These are both power, ground, and the white is neutral. So these will both be pumping out, well, anyway, from here, this right here will have 120. This won't have any, because this is 120. This is the 30 amp, but like it's not connected here. So this you don't have to worry about, but you need to worry about this, or even if you wanted to leave it disconnected like in there. But like I just gonna tape it off and tape it out of the way right here once it's in the cabinet. So that's my update. Electrical is, the hard part of the electrical is mainly done right now. It's just like I said, the LEDs I have to run, LEDs, water pump. I have tank heaters for the water storage tanks. I have a gray, and it's going to be a freshwater. I'm not doing the black tank. I think I'm going to end up probably doing like a compost toilet. We'll see how that goes. But I have to wire for that. Tank heater, water pump, LEDs, and the lights for the oven and stuff. They're going to go right here for the exhaust vent, and then the oven light right here. So I'd have to run some cables for that. But like the hard part, or the most daunting and fearing, I kept putting it off, procrastinating to do, was this stuff right here. But like once I actually started to do it, it wasn't bad at all. So it's actually pretty straightforward. It just took some time. Or 67. And how I have my battery set up, this is all parallel. So instead of doing like all these parallel together, it's kind of like having 5 different battery rings. So that way, like inside, like the internal batteries themselves, like usually it'll pull from like the shortest one, like the lowest voltage measure, like if they're not like balanced or equal. So I figured this should probably be a little bit more efficient for the flow of electricity and everything. And when I had it running, I did test the AC. You actually feel like the amps pulling through the ground cable. It moves a lot, but like there's a battery sensor for the temperature and stuff like that, and it pulled without an issue. So I'm pretty happy where it's at right now. This is cool. This is free electricity. All those people out there paying for electricity right now, think about some solar. You have to pay the upfront cost, but like you think long game, it should pay for itself. So just think about that. Like all this stuff should pay for itself compared to paying like the electrical company. Like for what I have, my situation anyway. Like somebody else's situation might be different. You might be in a house where you don't have like the storage capacity and a whole bunch of different factors. But like for this system, it should be free electricity, but you will have to probably plan your day around the electricity and like how much you have left, and like preserve like the power, because there will be cloudy days, and these won't be able to run like non-stop for weeks and weeks without the sun. So we'll figure that out once everything gets charged up. But you have to consider all your capacity and where you're using it. Like if you want the AC going, if the sun is blaring like this, it shouldn't be a big deal. But like if it's cloudy for days and days, probably won't want to use the AC too much. Probably just use like the exhaust fans, open the windows, get some circulation going to save your batteries. But like with the sun's up and kicking, like what it's pushing out right now, especially like if the AC is running with the thermostat, like this should probably be able to just run the AC straight by itself. So if I have a full battery and this is charging, it should be good to go like all day and even make it through the night. But like we need to charge them up so you can see what the full capacity is and then base it off of that. So you kind of learn as you go with the power. But with that, you don't want to like constantly keep draining them down. Even though like they're lithium, they see you could go all the way down to 0, but it's probably like good for like the lifespan. So if you want to recoup your money, try to make sure like your charging algorithms inside the solar charger and the inverter are correct, and that you're measuring your temperature and what's coming and going, so you get the most out of this, so you could make your money back and some in the long run. So yeah, we're definitely getting there. We're definitely getting there. Yeah, and for the videos are pre-recorded. I just kind of have to get around to like editing and going through and sorting stuff, and I'll post stuff up. But like if you're watching this now, this has probably been recorded like a week, 2, a month, who knows when, but this is pre-recorded. It's not like yesterday. So like if you do comment on this stuff, it's already been done. I probably already moved on, but like I'll do my best to respond to any questions, or even if you have suggestions and stuff like that. But just know this wasn't done yesterday. This has been done for like a couple weeks now. It's just I get to work on the weekends or whenever I can find time to sneak up here to actually get work done. So this is pre-recorded, but still don't hesitate to ask any questions. If I can help you, I'll help you. I like to learn from other people's mistakes, so I do mess up, so ask away. I'm gonna keep on making this happen. But right now, bench. That rambling, that rant went on way too long, longer than I was expecting. But I appreciate you. Keep watching, subscribing, liking. Tell your friends, tell your mama's mama about this channel, and I'll be back with more. Peace, TJ.